the U.S. Geological Society and the international equivalent, whatever that is, that this is the hottest 6 months of the first 6 months of the year on record. It's already ahead of last year, which was blazing hot all over the globe. So I think for me, hearing that, and people know that I'm a total global warming, like, you know, I'm really consumed by it in many ways, but I keep thinking, why are we not obsessed with having conversations about those things? Why instead are we talking about, who I just mentioned, Melania Trump, or even worse, the Kim Kardashian / Taylor Swift / Kanye West controversy. And I guess what I just want to talk about is, I just started thinking about, you know, and listen, I'm not innocent of it either. I get caught up in it as much as anyone. But for me, maybe what I'm kind of dealing with right now is when I turn on the news, because I'm very curious about the world, I feel like I'm inundated with a media's sort of obsession with things that we really have that don't mean anything. And then I just started thinking about, to me, at the gym today, I don't know why I started thinking about this, and I was at the gym doing a barbell, and I almost started crying because I was so moved by the thought of it, about the poetry of humanity. And I'm not being all highfalutin here. There is a poetry in being alive, which I am very, very scared that we are losing, because we are obsessed and talk about things that are not important. So what ends up happening as artists, as people, as citizens of the planet, we lose our own connection to why we do what we do. You guys, you don't do what you do to have billions of followers who are all nobody you would ever know anyway. You don't do what you do to become famous, even though when you're really young you think that that's important. You don't do what you do so that you get the love from the outside, which can never be filled if it's not filled from the inside. Again, that's a lifelong journey to understand. You do what you do because of what we just did in that warm-up, of really wanting to connect with other human beings. That's poetry. That's an alive, breathing experience called connection. I've been teaching some other classes this week, which has been really amazing to me to reconnect with people I haven't seen since intro. And we've had some, I mean, my God, there's been crying and laughing and crying and laughing, and really talking about some intense, amazing human, just what it means to be human. And I think in this weird time that we're living in, although like I like to say, it's not any weirder than any other time. But here's the thing that was driving me crazy. This is why I can't watch this stuff, because we focus on things that aren't really real, but then are driven by fear that then seem to become real. So I'm watching the RNC, and people are holding signs saying, "Make America safe again." So I start thinking, what does that mean? What does that conversation even mean? Who said America wasn't safe? How do we even know statistically it's not any more or less safe than anywhere else at any other time? Or maybe it is because of what they like to talk about, terrorism, and then the xenophobia sort of philosophy about it. But then we have to start thinking about, well, aren't guns in play? You see what I'm saying? So it becomes a more philosophical, in-depth conversation than the way we just react to things. So maybe my thought about all this is, we have to stop reducing, reacting to things. We have to stop objectifying and fetishizing things. We have to stop letting the media determine your own experience about something. When was the last time you just took a breath about something that is troubling or disconcerting or brings up feeling, or you want to react? The problem is so many people are reacting all the time without the full story. It's all we ever get. So we don't ever get the full story, so I actually also think we're always we're not satiated. So we're trying to go back for more, to get more of an update of something that isn't really real to begin with. There's no poetry in that. There's that word poetry, what does that mean to you? Francis, how much have your parents sacrificed? I'm not going to get through this without crying. How much have your parents sacrificed for you to have a life that you're living now? Hunter, how's it going with you and your experience about trying to make changes in your life when you maybe are feeling like your relationship isn't working the way you thought it would work?
Gotta connect.
Yes. Rachel, how's it feel to be a mom of 2 kids today in 2016? That.
Challenging.
Yeah, it's all poetry. That's poetry. It's personal to each of them. I'm not a mom, but I can completely relate to the challenges that Rachel goes through as a mom, specific to her own life, but also connects to my own challenges of friends who have children, my brother who has a child. Kids, we gotta get back to being human. I think that that's the real error in our civilization, is that we've lost any kind of compassion and kindness. Oh, God. We've lost compassion and kindness. I want to just end with this one thing, because this is why I got upset at the gym. Is I started thinking about this thing about losing. We're so desensitized by what it means to be human that when that tragedy occurred in Nice, there were people filming on their iPhones dead bodies and people who were on their way to death, suffering. If you don't believe it, you can Google it, but I don't advocate it, because generally they say there's a warning, don't watch this video. First of all, I don't even know why that stuff is being published and put out there. We have crossed the line in not understanding. It's not for you to get likes. It's not even for you to comment on as news. That could be your mother, your brother, your sister, your friend. It's a compatriot. It's a fellow human being. We have to start getting our humanity in check. And just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. That's the other thing. The constant peer pressure and the demands of us to be so socially active without any kind of awareness of what it really means is really troubling. Especially for me as a mentor to young people. Because you're hearing that the only way you're going to get ahead in life is if you have a 10 billion followers on Instagram or whatever. Kids, you cannot sacrifice your own connection as an artist to what it means to be human. If you are videotaping people who are suffering from a huge tragedy, that's not what social media is about. And ultimately, it's not really what being a human being is about. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I guess I'm more hot-headed about it than I thought I was. It's like, oh... You know, we had this amazing party on Friday here. It's a 90s reboot. And spontaneously, I filmed it because it was so beautiful, but spontaneously, like 50 or 60 people started doing the Macarena and on the slope out there on the parking lot. That's poetry. That is poetry. That's living. It made me so happy. First of all, that song, and that everybody even still remembered it, or even they didn't. And I think Amy Walker from Wednesday night started calling out hand positions and what to do. And that's poetry. That's what it really means to be an artist, to be human. So I just think our benediction, you guys, it's really up to us. I keep saying that. I just keep saying that. As artists, it's up to you. It's really up to you. It's not up to the politicians, the lawmakers. It's not up to the media. You know, it's really up to the artists and the poets and the writers and the creators, the actors and the directors and the storytellers who really want to move culture and consciousness forward. It starts with you. All right, so as you can tell, this studio is not really about acting. I mean, it is. We're going to deal with acting right now. But it would be remiss of me to not talk about the things that I'm struggling with. I don't think that I have it solved. I just want to share with you these are things that I'm thinking about. And if I'm thinking about them, surely at least one other person in the room must be thinking about it as well.